Guys, welcome back to Investor Army. I'm glad that you're here today. We're going to be talking about cross-referencing mailing lists to get you a higher ROI on your very next mailing campaign. Why is this important? Who is this important for? Well, it's important for each and every one of us doing direct mail campaigns, but specifically, guys, I'm filming this video to help that individual right there, the one whose pockets are out and empty. They have no time and no money. They cannot wait 6 months for a drip campaign, mail campaign to produce a lead, nor can they afford it. They have just enough money to do one mail campaign, touch somebody one time, and hope for the best. I'm gonna show you how to increase your chances to maximize your opportunity to close a deal if that's your situation, which it is for most of you. Because if you put 1,000 people in a room, the most common individual in that room is this person right there. We're gonna talk about why that is in just a second. Now, most of them have $500 or less, so we're going to use that as a case study purpose. How do I know? Because when people come up to me and say, Connor, if you could help me find a deal right now, what is the best way to go look for one? Or Connor, I have to get a deal done right now. They always tell me, when I ask them, how much money do you have? Right around $400 or $500. So the first thing you need to do, guys, is understand this. If you have $0 in your account or $500 in your account, there is really no difference. You need to take a risk and put all that money into play and go for it. Take a risk. You need to stop squeezing a hold of that money. So right now you have grasp of that last little bit of money in your bank account. It could be $500, it could be $1,000, it could be $2,000. Really, it could be $5,000. Guys, if you really want to be successful and be successful as a business owner, take a chance, take a risk. You're gonna have to open up that hand, because if it's closed around that money, nothing can come in or come out. So you're gonna have to open up that hand, let those dollars, those soldiers go out and fight for you, and hopefully they win and come back with some friends, and you have more money in your hand than when you started with. So the reason why a lot of these people, guys, have no money and they're sitting in a situation where they're scared to spend that last little bit of money is because they had unrealistic expectations getting in, and who put those expectations into their head? Fake TV, AKA reality TV, which is what people call it. And then also you have all these traveling gurus, these seminar coaches, right? And they are what I call fake colleges, because they get you to put up $30,000 to $50,000 to have a professor or a teacher, not an investor. This is a big difference. A mentor is a successful investor teaching you the business. A teacher or a hired hand or a coach is what these companies use. So basically they start with this. They have an investor up at the top. He realizes there's good money in the education business and selling information. He wants to start a business, but he gets in, he quickly realizes it takes a lot of time to do one-on-one coaching. So he's just gonna create a course and hire this guy, that's basically sold by a salesman to get people into his classroom to teach you how to do the business. They have a book or a manual or CD courses that they teach off of, but they are not a successful investor. They are not the deal maker. She or he is not the deal maker. So why do so many people fail going through these courses and ruin their lives? Well, it's because they're getting taught by someone who's not a successful investor. That is what happens in college. The reason why so many of y'all went off to school at a university and paid $100,000+ and you're back here watching this video right now is because it failed you. The reason why some of you went through one of these courses like I did and had to go out and figure out how to make money through YouTube and home study courses and other ways to find education in this business is because these people failed me. If you went through one of these courses and you're watching me right now, they failed you. That's why you're looking for more information right now. And they failed you because they hired a professor. So what is a professor? And guys, I'm gonna insult some people right here, but I don't care because I want you all to be successful. I have no intention on sugarcoating anything. This is a real estate entrepreneur channel. I'm gonna tell you what it really is and my real opinion on everything. And what a professor is this, guys. A professor is someone who went through the school system and was all high and mighty on their education. If you've ever read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it's really the poor dad, right? So they all believe in their education system and they think it's the greatest thing ever, but they get their education, they go out into the real world, and what happens? They get their ass kicked. They get beat up, left, right, whichever way you want to look at it, they get beat up, they fail at life, and they say, wow, that was tough, I don't like the pain, I'm gonna go back and do something safe. So they go back to the university and they get a job as a teacher, and they teach there for the rest of their life, and they get tenure, and they teach our students, me, my friends, my family, and everybody else I know, and your kids, how to be failures. They're teaching you supposedly how to be successful, but they're teaching you how to be like them, which is a failure. Does that make sense? Guys, our professors failed at life and are coming back to teach you how to be successful, and we're paying them $100,000+ to do so. If you haven't gone to college yet, guys, you don't need it. Go out there and be a business owner, and if you start at 18, if I could go back, there's no telling where I'd be right now. So don't feel bad if your parents can't send you to college. They're probably helping you out. So just get that out of your head right there. And be careful with those company guys. If you're gonna spend $25,000 or more, as long as you're working with the deal maker themselves or their mentor that's very successful and you're being directly mentored by them, guys, if they're hiring a coach, please use some sense. Please don't go out there and get hurt like a lot of people are. Now, let's get back to talking about the mailing list. So you're gonna have $500 left. So most people and most of these companies tell you go buy a list. So they go tell you to go buy a list from Listability or ListSource or one of these companies that everybody else is buying a list from. That is not your greatest chance of getting a deal. You need to get a list that you pull on your own, because most people, remember in this business, are lazy. They're not gonna go pull their list. So go down to the county, pull these lists. Now we're gonna look for life events. We're not looking for motivated sellers, we're looking for what's called a life event. A bankruptcy, a divorce, that's a life event, and a life event creates a motivated seller. So we're marketing towards life events. We're gonna go pull these lists. Some of y'all may have counties where these lists are free. You may not have to pay for these lists. Some of you may, but let's just assume that we have $500 and we pay $25 for each list. Now, a normal postcard is gonna be about 40 cents. A normal direct, a yellow letter is gonna be about $1. So if you're gonna send dollars to these, you have about 400 bullets in your gun. You have 400 shots to hit the target. Get a deal. So how are we gonna increase the chance that we hit the target? Well, we can get a scope, or we can narrow down and get a closer view of what we're trying to hit. And that's what this is. This is our master list. And that's what we're gonna build. So instead of mailing, say we get a list of code violations, bankruptcy, divorce, late taxes, or tax delinquency, we get 400 leads on each list. Instead of taking those 400 leads and mailing one list with all the rest of our money one time, we're gonna cross-reference these lists. Guys, you're on YouTube right now, you know how to use it. Go look up how to use Excel spreadsheets. Go just get a YouTube video, it could take you a few minutes, and how to cross-reference them. So we're gonna basically overlap these lists. We're gonna cross-reference this one to this one, this one to this one, and vice versa, and we're gonna cross-reference them all. And we're gonna try to find the duplicates, because if there's 400 people here, 400 people here, there's a good chance that there's some on both these lists. There's a good chance that some of them are on all these lists, but not a lot. And then we're gonna arrange them in descending order. So guys, we wanna have basically a list breakdown like this. You may not have any, but you may have a couple that have a match on all four, where they literally show up their information on all four of these lists, and it's an increasing ROI as you go down. So people who have one match, which is just one list, versus two, versus three, versus four, if that makes sense, you have a higher chance of creating a deal or getting a deal and having a return on your investment if you go after these lists more aggressively that have more matches. So 2 matches would be someone who's got code violation and divorce. 3 matches would be that they had divorce, code violation, and bankruptcy. And 4 matches is all of them. So it looks like this, guys. The first match would just be that they come up on one of these lists as a life event. That is a warm lead. A cold lead would just be a random house in your neighborhood. This is a warm lead because they have a life event. They're more likely to be in a situation where they're financially distressed and they have to sell their house quickly to a cash buyer. Now, if they're on 2 lists, say they're on divorce and tax delinquency list, that's a 2-match list. That means that's a hot list. 3 matches, now it's on fire. 4 matches, if they're on all those lists, guys, you better not get too close because you might get incinerated. Those are burning hot leads. They're gonna sell their house no matter what, and you wanna be the one to go get it. So how does this kind of look? We need to figure out how we're gonna spend our last $400. We wanna spend the most money on the 4 matches and go back up. And so what would you wanna do? Say on the 1 matches, you wanna send a $40 postcard. And you're gonna do that only with the leftover leads. So we're gonna start back and go this way. But on like a 2-match, guys, you wanna send a couple postcards and maybe a yellow letter and a postcard. On 3 lists, you know, you maybe wanna get in the car and actually go out there to the house. But guys, if you have 4 matches, here's what you do. You get your tent, you get your contract, you get some marshmallows, you drive down to the property, you put your tent in the front yard, and you sit there until they sign that contract. I'm not kidding. You go to that house and you knock on the door every day until you get that lead, because they're gonna sell it eventually. So guys, these bottom 2, if they have 3 or 4 matches, you physically drive to the house. You knock on the door. You have to get a deal done right now. You have to change your life. Go out there and get it. It's right there. Go out there and get it. And then the rest of your money you spend on these other 2-match and 1-match leads, and you work backwards, if that makes sense, but you spend your remaining money on that. And that's gonna increase your chances of getting these deals. So you have to be way, way, way aggressive for the ones down here, and then back off, and as you get down to 1 match, do the most volume you can to increase your chances. So you wanna just do postcards. So guys, I hope that kind of helps, so you can kind of see how to cross-reference these lists to increase the likelihood that you're gonna have a higher ROI with that last dollar that you had to spend. If you have any more questions, guys, or you have anything that you want me to talk about on this channel, please let me know. I'm here to help you guys. I wanna help you be successful. But guys, if you have a little bit of money, take a risk. If you run out of money, save a little bit more, take a risk again, because eventually it's just like drilling oil. You're gonna drill dry hole, dry hole, dry hole, then you're gonna hit a big one. It's gonna pay for all those other holes and then some. See you on the next video.